Hey guys, this is Fan Confessions, the channel of two friends, two fans, and the K-Wave. Hi, I'm Lisa.
I'm Stephanie.
And welcome to the place where we share our love of all things K-pop and our personal experience as fans.
Okay, so we're back here again with our drama club. We're talking about Nevertheless. We've already chatted about episodes 1 through 4. Now we're going to talk about episodes 5 through 8 and our feelings on that, and you know, if we're gonna continue watching it or not. I mean, I'd be surprised if we stopped this far in.
I know, exactly.
but
we gotta see what happens now.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, going into it, how did you feel about, like, so we finished episode 4, and I guess I'm assuming most of you had seen episode 4 if you're watching this video. If not, stop and go back and watch our previous video.
Exactly. Link somewhere.
Yeah, because this will be riddled with spoilers. But we'll mark clearly so that you guys can jump through to whatever episode you're on. But yeah, so we left off. It was like kind of a cliffhanger in episode 4, right? It was like, oh no, we found out that he's getting beat up by someone that's accusing him of being with somebody, and you don't know.
We were all like, speculation, could this dude driving up out of nowhere be, and what's his relationship to whoever Jaeyoung got busy with, because we know that happened.
So what was our options? I think we thought it was somebody's wife, or like someone clearly in our relationship, like it shouldn't be.
Yeah, we thought this gentleman was the partner of whoever Jaehyun got into.
Yeah,
but got into.
Could be true.
Very true. But it turns out to be a brother, a very protective older brother of somebody who turns out was in a relationship, and we kind of figured that out.
Which I'm like, she should have also known better. Like, it's
I know what
kind of different, a weird.
I don't know why is like Big Brother getting involved when little sister's the one that cheated on her whoever spouse, partner, or whatever. It's like,
I don't know. It's kind of just a weird situation, because I like to think, I mean, as much as he shouldn't be doing that, it's like there's two that are making this decision. So she's equal part.
But you know, she totally, I'm sure she totally played it like she was seduced and she couldn't control.
Who knows?
Not
we
her
never
fault.
got enough context to really know, although they did sort of meet later, right? I think.
Yeah. Jaehyun was pissed, and he probably cut that relationship off cleanly. But yeah, it was funny how they filmed her too, because sort of like how they filmed Nabi's ex.
Yes,
like the very, like, you only see like their jaw, and like you don't really see their full face and stuff like that. So again, the very interesting right, again, the very interesting filming of those like side characters. I
was like a little bit disappointed, because I thought it was gonna build up to some more drama, and it was kind of like it blew over, and then it was like gone, and it didn't really matter that much. So I was like, okay, well, what was the point of all that drama at the end? I mean, it got me to watch the next episode, but it didn't add much to the story. It just kind of like, okay, it's kind of what you assume from him.
Another reason for Nabi to get pissed off at him and want to like avoid the situation.
She didn't really react as well as I expect. Like, I expected her to react more strongly towards it. And she's
basically, dude, I don't want to see you anymore, and walk away.
She still wasn't very strong about it. Like, it's like my feelings are wavering for her, because I was like, and then she always just kind of, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's why this thing's called Nevertheless.
Yeah, exactly. No, nevertheless,
she just is like, well, doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Guess she's gonna do what she's gonna do.
I don't know. Yeah, so I was kind of disappointed in that. It did kind of feel more like what I was thinking when I thought maybe he was going to be misunderstood. I wondered if he was going to be misunderstood, though, if it would have been stronger, because it would have been kind of like, oh, you might have more sympathy for him. But again, you don't.
I know, because like what I really, really got excited about, like, in this episode was that we got a little bit of his narration.
Yes.
Very small and limited, but we got a little bit of his thought in like the whole situation. I thought, oh, finally we're gonna get to know Jaeon.
Yes.
We're gonna get to know his perspective. And really, we got a little bit of the thought process. So we understand him a little more that way, but still no background, no reason for his motivations of like how he acts.
You don't know why that will wake him up. Yeah.
You don't know why he figures relationships are like entrapment or something like that. Like his like phobia to commitment. You don't understand, you know why? You know he thinks that way. You have no idea why though still.
Yeah, that's actually again that's a good point. Like I feel like other dramas, we spend a lot more time separately with each of them and understanding what their lives are about a bit more. This one is very centered on her. And it's true, we really don't see a lot of him. And if we see him, it's more so revolving around what's his reaction to her, kind of what she's doing in that moment, and nothing to do outside of her.
It's not a comment she made in this episode. It's one later on that we'll talk about later. But she, like, as they're having one of their conversations, she, like, in her head, she calls him a coward. And I think, like, because how we started off episode 5 and they have a bit of a tiff confrontation, negative, sort of like they have a bit of a break again, but it's like he just like, she says, I think we need to stop, and he's like, oh yes, it's good, it's your decision. It's like he wants to place the responsibility on other people for like relationships not continuing. So it's like, again, I was like, coward. Maybe just a little.
Well, it seems like he's choosing not to get invested enough to like almost feel anything either. Like he stops himself. But yeah, I mean, we want to talk a little bit probably about like what we think he wants from her. And it's like, I don't even know what he wants. Like, I'm like, one day I'm like, I think he likes her. And then I'm like, no, he doesn't really care. But then he's not acting like a guy that just wants to hook up with her and leave. So I'm not really sure. I think super sus to me. I don't know.
Yeah, he totally, like, I think Jian is probably just as confused as us as viewers are. Because there are times where he seems really sincere and like he might have genuine feelings for her and like care about her as a human being. But then like he pulls these moves, these dumbass moves.
And I feel like he's a boy.
But like that, not all men are like that.
I just mean a boy.
A boy, yes. Mature. You're right. That is a very good point. That is a very good point. I agree with you 100% there. I think he's just like stuck in this very immature mentality about relationships and what they really are. And like his interactions with her, I think, are pretty evident. Like he has no idea what he wants. Like he's just going on instinct, it seems like. And it's not doing positive things for Navi's feelings, that's for sure.
No. And then like, so then she draws the line and they separate and you're like, okay, well maybe this is good. And she's like she's not overly avoiding him, but she's definitely making sure she's got her space. But it's like the way he approaches her still just like rubbed me the wrong way. Like he's so physical all the time. And it's like borderline her reactions and the way like she like sort of he doesn't want it and he still does it. And it's like, and so it's kind of weird. So I wanted to make this connection because I'm not sure if other people have noticed it or whatever. So the actor was also in Love Alarm. And Love Alarm was very much like that. Like I literally stopped watching it the first episode because he was too, like it was worse than what we're seeing. But I was like, is that how he acts? Like, is that the actor's way of interpreting these moments? I know he's supposed to be kind of like that, but then I'm like, it's just weird how the parallels are very similar like that. And I just didn't know. I'm like, is that actually written into the character? Is that him putting it into the character? And that's what
it makes you wonder.
He's like that as a person, but it just comes out. He
has no sense of like he's touching without consent or without permission,
a little bit.
Like getting like getting into other people's spaces and making them feel uncomfortable.
It's playing
it's a trend,
line, right? Like, you know, like it's kind of like he's doing the game of I know you want me to, so I'm.
And it's like
you're not saying it.
I hate that. I know. I hate that. I know.
And so that's kind of what it was like in Love Alarm, but it was even more so than that because it was like they had no interaction. I mean, at least in this sense, they have slept together.
Yeah.
There's history. So it's okay.
There's a reason why he might feel like he's got permission, like unwritten permission.
Still, though, if you break up, like I feel like I've been there in the past too. It's like, I don't know, people, if you're listening to me, if you break up, then one person has agreed that they're not interested anymore. It doesn't matter if you were dating before or you've had sex or whatever. Like, I just don't think it's appropriate to approach someone that way just because you had been together. Like,
exactly. 100%.
There could be all kinds of reasons. I don't know. It just gave me really off vibes, and it kind of turned me off from him a little bit. And I was like, whew, I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because like I get a little bit of that too. I'm glad you made that connection though, because it's like it makes you wonder, like, why is that like behavior so prevalent, and like why is that acceptable?
Yeah, it's so weird in Love Alarm, and why, like, so both me and my husband felt that way.
It was uncomfortable.
Because we were watching together and we were like, this is like too, and I read lots of comments about it. Like, I think a lot of people felt the same way. And especially too because it was high school, like, I think.
Yeah, that's even worse, eh?
So it was like even worse of a thing because it was like, I don't know. And that's where it's like, I don't want to put anything on the actor and say that's him. I just find it's a weird coincidence that it's him in these two positions and he has this, I get that feeling. Maybe he's good at being that villainous kind of part of a guy and portrays it well. I don't know. But it's just, it's enough to make me, and usually I'm not that I'm comfortable with these things. I'm not usually outspoken about that kind of thing or feel that way, but this really made me feel that way. So.
Oh that's interesting that it like caused such, like, you saw that it was like a big highlight for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So dude, like, what you doing?
Yeah. And then like on the opposite side of like with the other relationships going on with Bitna and your favorite beanie guy.
Yeah.
I love the beanie guy. Like, where is this maturity level about love and understanding?
And he's so cute with his Satori.
Yes. Like, oh my gosh.
God, he is like the mature. Like, it's so funny because like what I compare Bitna and Beanie to is like a gender reverse version of Jan and Navi.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Beanie is like totally like, he's like sincere and he wants like a real relationship, and like Bitna doesn't even know what that is.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's nice that they finally, like, she admits like, I like you. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I like you, I want to date you.
Yes.
And he's like, yes.
I love it. It's like, so for them, so they're starting to come up to be more of the interesting part for me, as one of the more interesting parts. And like the whole scene where like they were making each other jealous and he was there eating ice cream, and then they found out that, I love this moment, but it's like where she's like, you eat mint ice cream, and it like goes back to them like getting ice cream at the college, and he's like says he doesn't want it and she doesn't want it, so she's like, oh, like, yeah,
they're both the anti-mint chocolate ice cream fans, so that's their bond, and she feels so betrayed when she sees him eating it.
I thought that was so cute. I was like, I love this scene. I love little moments like that, just like make the dramas for me.
Yeah.
So that kind of solidified. I was like, okay, I enjoy it. But I love how he talks to her about, he's like very clear about what he wants and like straightforward. And I don't know. And
it's like, he's got such logic, but at the same time, he's got like this tenderness for her.
Yes.
Which is like, And she just doesn't know how to receive that.
I don't know. She's immature as well. I have more hope for them than I do for Jaeon and Abby at this point, because I feel like he's much more mature than his feelings. I feel like Nabi's quite naive, and I don't know. She doesn't know how to deal with it either.
It's funny, like the sort of like comparison that you could make with these two couples, right? It just, if Bitna was a bit more stronger in herself and could feel like I don't know, more confidence, if she had as much confidence as Beanie does in himself, I think she'd probably be a similar kind of, be a little more stronger in what she wants and what she'll accept from others.
I feel like that's why I want them to work out, because I feel like he would be good for her, like he would make her better, but she doesn't really realize it or think she deserves it maybe or something. But
I know, Bitna is a bit,
she's flawed, right? She's one of the flawed characters.
She wants to have fun, and she's not quite sure about later on, we'll see in later episodes, like it becomes more evident that Beanie wants what he wants, and what he expects from a relationship is very different when Bitna and what she wants and what she expects from a relationship. And both of them, are they willing to bend or compromise to make things work? It's a little rough.
Definitely. And I think so then as we get to the end of the episode, kind of, so we started to see like Jaeon and Abby, like, so he had been her assistant or asked to be her assistant, right? It was like
in her project,
and so they're working together more, and then of course they get left alone together, like, oh, surprise.
And like the feelings that are obviously there for both of them, it becomes a little warm and cozy again. And
it like feels better, I guess. It felt like they were getting to a more natural spot, actually, for the first
healthier spot. It felt like there was a healthier spot. But then Jan's friend Sola, she comes into the picture. She comes to visit, she sees them together, and she's got this like, again, like before in our last episode from episodes 1 to 4, we were just like, who is this girl? What does she want? What is her relationship with him? But then it's like she comes in and she's got a little bit of jealousy for this a lot. But it's funny because she's very much got this similar thoughts about relationships and as Jaeon, right? So they're like two peas in a pod, those two. But for some reason, I still don't understand why, if that was the case, and like you don't want to own anybody, you don't want to be attached to anybody, that she would sort of like insert herself into the relationship of Bitna and Jaeon and sort of like cause a little bit of havoc there. Because at the end of episode 5, she comes in and she's like, we're dating. So
as if that was truth. Not true.
Exactly.
Well, we don't know at that point, but I didn't think it was truth.
I didn't think it was truth either, but like Nabi was just pissed.
She said her piece. I was kind of proud of her for that moment. A little not proud at the fact that she got so mad. Like, why? Like, just, it's not working out, so why bother worry yourself with. But
that when they were working together in that shift in personality, they got warm and cozy again. True. So she's like, maybe she started wearing her hair up the way Jaeon likes it,
and he's been wearing it down,
and he wears it down the way she likes it.
Just because he has his bangs down, stop.
But it's like you could almost feel, and they made it feel like both of them were like doing that thing that you do in relationships. You compromise to fit, and you make that fit, and you do stuff for each other when you like each other, right? So she was feeling that he actually did like her, and he's obviously got feelings for her and knows that she likes him. So it was feeling good. It was actually feeling good between them for once, instead of like completely sus. But then Sola comes in, makes her little comment, and then like Nabi pulls her hair down. She's like, screw this. What the hell am I doing again? I'm getting sucked in.
Oh, yeah. It was a whole interesting scene. I don't know. And then it's like you're supposed to have some sort of sympathy for Sola because you see that she's like sick or something. Right? She's got some
hospital visits. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's interesting that it's like maybe he's still connected to her because of that. It feels like she's a friend and wants to be there for her. And then she's obviously come to rely on him so much that now he's gone. That's probably, or not that he's gone, that he's distracted.
Or like her position in his life is threatened a little bit by his relationship with Nabi, right? So yeah. I can understand. So we get to understand Sola a little bit more and what her place in his life is and her intentions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I still don't like her though.
No, I feel like I don't think she's made for you to like her.
No, definitely not.
She's supposed to throw a wrench into the plans, so.
Definitely. And she does her job so well. Okay, so now we're moving on to episode 6. So episode 6 is a fun episode.
They're all fun episodes, sort of.
They really are.
They do like, they are kind of wavy. Like I don't know. There's some episodes I suppose I feel like drag a little bit more than others, but then there's always something that picks it up eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not too low. Like
it's got nice dynamics and keeps you interested. That's for sure. So we left off with like Nabi getting pissed off at Jan again, which is becoming a bit of a trend. And so she decides she needs a break.
Yeah.
So without saying anything to anybody, she just picks up and she goes back home to the small town where her aunt lives, where she spent a lot of her childhood, it would seem, based on what we see in the episode. And she's going there for some rest and to revitalize herself and just to get away from Jaehyun.
Which I was just kind of like, why would you leave and not tell anybody? Like, you're like, I don't know where she went.
She's just gone. She's been gone for days. But
I don't know. That was a little dramatic for my taste.
Yeah. I don't know if I could just pick up and leave school for a week without saying anything to anybody. That is a little bit.
Even your friends, like at least just tell your friends where you are.
You can't even tell Bitna, and
that's where I was just like, okay.
And everybody's like phoning you frantic, like, are you okay? Are you dead somewhere?
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
Yeah, but she goes home to her aunt and sort of like, because like I think her aunt seems to me like very much more the mother figure in her life than her actual mother.
I figured that out. I'm like, what's with the mom? At first I thought her mom had died, but I think her mom's still alive.
She visited her mom on her birthday, remember?
Okay, that's what I thought. And I'm like, but then I was like, is she visiting her grave? Like, I remember when that first happened. I'm like, is she visiting her grave? Like, I'm confused because you don't really see the mom, right?
Well, you saw it. Remember, her mom was like having a thing with her boyfriend on Bitna's birthday, and that's why Bitna left her mom's early.
I am so like bad with memory. Well, the mom is not memorable to me, clearly.
Yes.
Besides the fact that doesn't seem like they have the best relationship.
But I think it sort of shapes Nabi's. I think her mother, her real mother, mm-hmm. and her mother's relationships with men, because obviously her mother has never been married. Bitna has obviously been like raised by her aunt and her mother, mm-hmm. as like she's the product of a relationship that never came into marriage, was never legal. Mm-hmm. So her mom's relationships with men, I think, really affects Nabi, and like how she wants to respond to Jaehyun, because she's like, this dude is not good for me. I'm not going to turn out to be like my mother. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why she has such like a negative reaction to Jaehyun and not wanting to get involved with him, even though she's like got serious desire for him.
That's where it's like, it's funny because it's like, she's like, no, but she between her past ex and this guy, she's definitely doing kind of the same thing here, right? Yeah. So I don't know, it's interesting. I mean, I'm glad she has the aunt. I like the aunt character. I feel like she's good and supportive. It helps to kind of like tie things in because it has like the pottery part, which connected to the sculpture piece, and it's like you kind of get like why Nabi is interested in what she's interested in. So it's like, okay, like this is starting to make a little more sense. And then of course, because she is back home, her good childhood friend Dohak is back there as well.
Yeah, he's reopening Grandpa's Noodle restaurants.
So cute. Oh my god.
I know, he's so cute.
Like, I just, the whole time he's on screen, I have like second male lead syndrome, like nobody's business. I don't know what it is about me in these episodes at this point. This guy is way more attractive to me than Jaeon is, and Jaeon's getting creepier and weirder as the episodes go. Like, I'm finding him less and less attractive.
Yeah, I'd love to see or talk to somebody who has a very different opinion of Jaeon than we do. Yeah. Because like me and Steph are very much on the same page. We're second lead all the way and like team Dongyuk.
Well, he's so precious. Like that van date, can I go do that date? It was so precious.
I want a cameraman. I want to date a gentleman. Yeah. He is such a gentleman.
And he cooks. He
cooks
so good.
And he's got the cutest smile.
Yes, he does. And then he like, I don't know, he just does everything, and he's like romantic in the right kind of way. It's not too much, and he cares about her. I don't know.
He respects her and her space.
I just take her and be like, girl, what?
I know. I'm just
what
like
is with you. Just
I know. It's just like he is a beautiful person, and he's a good person.
Yeah. And we're so close to friends. Like, clearly there's some sort of affection. Like, I can see her enjoying it too.
Like, she knows, like, it's like this, it's, oh God, it's that battle of what you know is good for you.
Yeah.
Versus what you want.
I guess so, but I'm like,
sometimes it's not always the same. And like, that's why she's all like torn up. Girl,
I kind of want her problems, because it's like they're both these worlds are so unrealistic. Like, there's no way that usually the good guy is that good of an option. There's usually something else about them that's off, but he's so like he's not missed a step.
He is not. I don't think he can. He's just
right.
He is just, well, his yeah, no,
he doesn't get too jealous and something bad happens, but he's like been so neutral the whole time.
Like, he like respects her and her thoughts and her decisions, and he's just, I like the fact that he like confessed to her that she was his first love when they were kids. I think it was like the cutest thing, and she's like, really? It's like,
she's like, she likes it though. That's where I'm like, I get so confused, because they play it up enough that you think she's going to actually grow feelings for him, but
well, it's obviously she does have feelings for him, but are they strong enough? Will they be strong enough? Will she go with what's good for her versus like, do you go with the bottle of water, or do you that like hydrates you and heals you, or do you go with the like wine that makes you drunk and happy?
I guess that's a good enough interpretation. I don't know. Yeah, I guess he's bad for you.
There's better analogies, but
I get where you're going for there.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I understand. Like, I totally get her struggle. Because
I guess I don't, because I'm like, just furious.
Well, because like going back, I think what I connected to like her experience with her mother's relationships and how that affected her own decision making in terms of men, I can really relate to. A little bit of TMI for you all. Like, I had my grandmother, bless her, and I love her. She had my dad young and didn't have a good relationship and with men and the ones that she was with, and she tended to pick ones that didn't treat her well. And when growing up seeing that, and as an adult making that conscious decision that like, I'm gonna avoid that, or that kind of dependence on somebody, really affects you and your decisions, whether you realize it or not.
Right. So
I can totally like, in that, I can really sympathize with her as a character in her decisions, and knowing that like she knows that Do-hyuk is the much better option, in that he sincerely would care for her and that she would be happy with him.
Yeah.
But then there's like this forbidden fruit of Jaeon, and it's just like a really strong pull for her. So she's kind of torn. So like we're so frustrated with her because we're just like, go for it.
I understand she might want to wait a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to just like jump so quickly.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I just the whole time I'm like, she's gonna break his heart. She's gonna break his heart. She's gonna break his heart. And I'm like, ugh.
I know.
And like I just know it'll happen, and it's like such a waste.
I know. He said it's like, and he's gonna, even if like she's gonna break his heart and he's gonna find somebody else and he's gonna treat her so good.
I hope so. Let's hope that's the happy ending, silver lining part there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh.
I'm not sure. So I mean, while this is all happening, Jaeon's back. They're wondering obviously where she is, and then he gets back to his old habits. Like I think he's back at the bar that they met.
Yeah.
And he meets another woman. She seemed a little bit older. Was that just me?
I think she was. She seemed like a little more true, like a little somebody beyond college.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, okay.
And then he she happens to mention, oh, I like the butterfly tattoo. What does it mean? Yeah. And he's like, ugliness and pain of happiness and the lack of freedom.
Like, what?
And I'm just like, holy crap, man. Where did that come out of?
I don't know. It was like he was really feeling it. He was in his feels then. He was just like, I don't know. And then he used the stupid butterfly line again. I'm like, stop inviting girls to.
You want to go see some butterflies? Steph just like cringes.
I do every time. I'm like, it's like creepy. It's not a good line. Stop asking. Even
though it's true, because he's got a bunch of butterflies.
But it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Okay. And then like, yeah, he was just not in a good spot. I mean, I guess we didn't really see much more there. We
don't know where it went, but we kind of have an idea. But like it's funny because a little bit more perspective on why Jaeon is the way Jaeon is that he's like, I don't know if he thinks he's the butterfly, like
it's a mixed message now.
Like he doesn't want to be hurt by happiness. He doesn't want to have that stereotypical happiness because it hurts and you're entrapped in something, you're not free. So maybe that's why he is the way he is and the way he avoids relationships the way he does.
I don't know. Still, again, don't know enough.
To
make any conclusion. Yeah, I would say.
Like, are we gonna get
part here?
Yeah, last episode we're gonna get slammed with his whole bio.
I know. I was gonna say, I'm like, I hope we get more because I feel like it's just little bit by little bit, and it's not enough to like be like understand any of his motivation between his actions. I mean, I guess it's part of it is maybe it's a tactic to keep us guessing because it's kind of like more stereotypical to see his actions and see him become that character that has the arc of where he like becomes a better person. Right?
They're not trying to instill empathy and sympathy for him too soon.
Yeah, like, it's like you're still unsure what if he's gonna actually, if he's decided if he likes her or not, or if he wants more, or if he has good intentions. Like you're kept guessing every episode whether or not he is going to.
And it leaves us feeling a little more open to feel as negatively as we do about his whole personality, because like in so many other dramas they give you like the reason to empathize and sympathize like right off the bat, so that you're somehow like excusing his bad, like these kind of characters' bad behavior throughout the drama. And it's kind of nice to like be like, okay, face value, these are his actions and they're crappy. But it's funny because like while we're going through all this, like Beanie and Jan have a nice conversation. And it's like, for me, it was kind of nice because Beanie is having his troubles with Bitna, sort of like I said before, like the whole gender reverse to Jan and Nabi. And like, I feel like Beanie's perspective of like feeling like when Jan asks him, well, have you told Bitna how you feel? And he's like, no, I have my pride. Yeah. And like it's a little ridiculous, but like we all have our pride.
Well,
I think
perfect either, right? He's
exactly
got most of it sorted out, and I think it's fair though, because she kind of tramples over him. So I like that he holds his pride high enough, because if he didn't, then he doesn't have enough like
self-worth. Yeah, exactly. Right? The confidence. And I think, what I really love about that line and Beanie saying that is like it gives Jian a little bit of like a perspective of Nabi through Beanie, because like I think like it really emphasized, because like Nabi is a little more timid and she's a little more naive, but she's got some stubborn pride in her too. And I think why she refuses to like voice some of her real feelings for Jan is because of that pride and like not wanting to give him that power over her. She wants to keep that. So yeah, so I liked that little scene because it gave a little bit of more background. Maybe like Jan would get that click, see the similarities.
He called him out on stuff a little bit, and I can't remember who was it that said it was twisted. Did Beanie say it was twisted?
Beanie said it was twisted.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, no, you are. Like,
yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think you're pretty twisted too, friend.
Yeah, no, yeah. Sorry, Beanie wins the more normal. But yeah, like when this whole scene was happening, I was like, I am getting Lisa's attraction to him. His voice is very
I know. Isn't it
so low and mellow and calming? And I'm like, immature. I like this man.
I gotta see if this actor's been in anything else, because I find him very attractive, and like just like his voice, like you said.
He's an enjoyable actor in general, actually. I like that he looks very deadpan, but then he has like, he's, for a side character, actually, I would think he actually has had a lot of talking moments and full-on conversations and development. Right?
Yeah, and he's got a lot of depth, doesn't he?
So I'm impressed by that, and I liked him as an actor too, so I would also agree that I would love to see him in something else.
I know, exactly, eh? It's like Beanie. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. So like they have that whole situation, and then we finally learn a little bit more about Jian. He goes and he meets his mom, right? It's his birthday. So, and then at first I blanked out. I didn't understand what the gift was. So I was like, what did she just give to him?
The key fob.
Of course.
He's got a car.
You didn't have a car before, right?
You know, my first reaction when I saw him walking into the hotel and she greeted him at the door, like,
lady?
Until he's like, oh, older lady, what's this going on? I did not think, I thought
it was the lady from the bar, maybe, or something.
I thought so too, but like,
woman also, yes.
Yeah, I was kind of relieved when he called her Oma.
I was like, okay, this is where it's not, him hooking up with some rich old lady.
This is not more sketch. This is not more sus. This is something a little more substantial and personal.
Yeah. Again, though, lacking scene, not enough for me to get anything besides the fact his mom seems to travel everywhere and she's famous.
Performance. She's like a performer or something.
Yeah.
And it later in another episodes, he 7 or 8, I can't remember. He mentions that he hasn't lived with his mother since he was 10. Right. So obviously they had a relation, like his parents' relationship disintegrated and divorced, and he lived with his father. Mm-hmm. So wonder if daddy issues is one of the reasons.
Well, who knows? The way he is. His mom being the way she is like he doesn't have doesn't seem like he's had much guidance in his
or like much of a good example of what a good relationship could be. Maybe he's had very negative examples, and that's why he is the way he is. Mm-hmm. So a little bit of background that give us a little bit of empathy for him. Exactly. But still, both of you and I could probably agree, still not enough. We want more about him.
And then so on a lighter note, there's also, they bring back the college senior couple, which I didn't even recognize. It took me a couple of minutes, because it was been such a paused moment for so long.
We hadn't seen them forever. I thought maybe we're never going to see them again.
Right. And then now they're in this whole storyline where she has moved in with him, and she's
because she lost her place, as we found out in earlier episodes, and she was living in the office until he discovered her and said, no, you're gonna move in with me until you find a place.
Which I mean, I'm like, man, that's pretty good of him for them being straight. Well, obviously he must like her or something.
They like at least like each other as friends in the beginning. But you know what's so funny about these two? If these two were the main characters of a drama, it would be very much one of those classic Korean dramas.
Totally. It's very like typical scene, right?
Tropes.
Where, like she's in the glasses and being more like it reminds me of is it Personal Taste? Did I ever get you watch Personal Taste?
I think so. Yeah.
And whatever. And like she totally like dresses down at home in that kind of way where they always
and then she sees him without his glasses.
I know.
She's like, why is he so attractive?
I was like, who's this guy?
I know he's hot.
He's really attractive. And I was like, I don't remember him. And then I was like, oh, when the glasses came on.
Glasses.
But he is also very handsome too.
He is pretty good looking. But their interaction is kind of like a nice relief from all the tension.
For sure. They're like a comedic little break. So you know what? I'm like on board with this. In the beginning, I felt like it was too much filler. It took too long to get to whatever this part of it is.
But now that we have it, it's a nice, we're grateful for it because it gives us a nice little reprieve from all the drama.
Exactly. And so I think at the very end of the episode, we leave with like, so they're planning this barbecue out at the place where Nabi is, similar.
Yeah, the MT. MT, what did they call it? MT. It's sort of like
I can't remember.
It stands for member training, and it's like a college tradition where you go on these outdoor trips, and it's like a group bonding kind of thing.
And like and then it's gonna be Do-Huk is doing the catering or whatever.
Because apparently, not only is he running the family noodle shop, he also runs a guest house.
I thought that was so random, but okay. That works out.
It's got to make some money somehow.
And then of course so everyone knowing Nabi is away, and then they're like, oh, they're gonna her and Jaeon are gonna wanna avoid each other. So they like lie. It was like Jiwon lied to her and said that he's not coming, and then I don't know. So he decides to come, and she's not expecting him there. Which I'm like, girl, he's gonna show up. You know he's gonna show up. Like, come on now. Right?
Exactly. So
I don't know why she would be so surprised. And so her and Do-Huk end up being there, and then all of a sudden at the very end of the episode you see Jaeon show up as well, and then it's like dun dun dun, who's this man?
The rivals meet.
And it's like almost it feels like Do-Huk instantly knows this guy is no good. Like, his reaction.
Like he sort of like he sees her reaction to Jaeon coming up, and he goes immediately in protective mode and stands sort of like between them, not completely in front of her like a weirdo, but he like puts himself between them to protect her. And I was just like, how are you so perfect?
Right? Although I was like, is this where we're gonna, at the time I was wondering if this was where we're gonna see the weakness in his character and how he reacts to the situation, and if he's gonna put himself in a less favorable position with her. And like, I don't know. And then I was like, oh man, are we gonna get to one of those stereotypical K-drama wrist grabs? Like, come over here, and like jealousy. I don't know.
Thank you. We did not get that. Did not get that.
All right. So yeah, we just talked a little bit about our feelings on what we thought was gonna happen when these two men in Nabi's life meet. And then all of a sudden they meet, and then it's like, I don't know, it felt it was like tension filled, but then again anticlimactic. Like nothing
exactly.
Really happened,
it's like,
right?
Because they're not gonna like cause a big scene first off, right? No. So I can understand that, but I could feel you. I was just like, it's a little bit of a downer.
And then there's like his cousin or something's there as well. She's like a little bit younger.
She's so cute though.
She reminds me of a K-pop artist. Do you know what I mean? Who she reminds me of? Kind of like maybe like the Cheons, like the sisters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's got that kind of look. She reminds me of a couple. Maybe she is a K-pop artist. That would be so funny. I should actually look into.
Like her face seems familiar. I feel like I've seen her face before, so I'm sure she's been in other dramas we've seen. But she's a cute little thing.
Yeah, they try to lure you into thinking at first she was like someone can't say his name. Dohak was interested in. And then it's like, no, you find out they're related. And then it's like, oh, Jaeyeon might be interested in her, which I kind of like also cringe because she seems quite young.
But it's I think Jan, when because everybody meets up, all the friends come to the guest house and sort of like interrupt the confrontation of the men leads. And then the cousin comes and it's all very cute. And it's like everybody's sort of like introducing themselves and, oh, how do you know Nabi? And blah, blah, blah. So, and she sees Jaeyeon, the cousin, and she's just like, oh, he's hot. So she's a distraction.
Yes.
She's a bit of distraction and she's sort of like a little bit of a puppy. And she's like, oh, you're so cute. And I like you, Mr. Jaeyeon.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's just sort of like giving her attention like he would any woman who would give him an attention. He seems to react the same way. So, but it's fun seeing their reactions because they have a bit of a barbecue. Mm-hmm. Well, first, I guess we should.
Yes, the amusement park happened first.
The amusement park.
Yeah, so I guess they're like all getting ready, and then like Dohak is doing the dinner, and he's like showing them all around where they're gonna stay. I didn't realize they were sleeping over, so they're all gonna like sleep over there. And then they all like love him and see kind of like him and Nabi together too. So then they're like, oh, you're so cool. Like, let's like, don't worry about dinner. Like, we'll all do it together. And like, you just like come with us and enjoy the day with us. And he has like this photography thing, which I kind of don't get. I'm like, what does this guy do? Because he kind of does everything.
I know,
right?
because like, it's a bit of a subtle thing and they don't like make it like a big thing, but like or in earlier episodes they've mentioned he does YouTube videos to sort of like advertise the restaurant that he's like the restaurant he's reopening. So he does YouTube videos and he does photography and stuff like that in the filmography. So I think that sort of comes in there, and then they make it a little more of a prevalent characteristic of him and make something like everybody feels attracted to him because he's so good at it. So he becomes the group photographer.
Yeah, and then so they all go to this like amusement park for the day, which is like typical K-drama. Let's go to the music park. It's super romantic. Always, I don't know. It's like
cute little headbands.
Yeah, they were really cute, right? Because they were doing the games and stuff, and like, and then of course like. Who is it? Oh, Dohak wins a prize, but then they give it to Jin because she cries so much that she wants it.
Oh, the girl. It's like, girl's so whiny.
Yeah, she is so whiny. Like she's borderline almost annoys me with how babyish she can be sometimes, and I'm like, I was kind of okay with Soul meeting that guy who's kind of disappeared now. Like, I guess you assume they get together once in a while, but
yeah, exactly.
He's not so much in the picture anymore.
Yeah, we haven't seen him for a while, but yeah, so they're playing games and they're having a typical like amusement park episode, and they all decide they're going to ride the Ferris wheel. So this, like, I don't know about you, but like Bitna's little scheme to get Nabi and Jan alone together on the Ferris wheel, I thought was like annoying. It's like, why are you doing this? She's not like Nabi's not into this and she's trying to avoid him. Why are you pushing them together?
I did not get it. Because I will tell you, even as my whatever it is about romance and amusement parks, but Ferris wheels, I was determined as a kid too. Whenever I was at an amusement park with a boy, like we have to go on the Ferris wheel. And most romantic situation ever is in Ferris wheels, so we gotta make this happen. So I was like, they're totally gonna do a scene in this Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
I knew that was gonna happen. And then so sure enough, and I mean, and I guess it was like two moments, right? There's like one between Nabi and Jaeyeon, and then there's also you see into the other pod where Sol and Jiwon are in with that other couple that came to me a couple episodes ago. So I don't know, which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, I gotta talk about Jan and his like getting down on one knee and being like,
"What are you doing?"
I wanted to hear you say, where were you? And I was worried about you. And I wanted to hear you say happy birthday, not just anybody else.
Like, how's she supposed to know it's your birthday?
I know, like somehow everybody does. I don't know.
I guess Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, social media, definitely. But I was just like, and he gets down on one knee and holds her hand, and he's like trying, it's like,
again, too much. Like, yeah.
I'm just like, I know it's like they're trying to play like I don't know what his game is. Because like, why would you go that far to be Mr. Sincere?
Yeah, well, that's where it's like he's starting to get a bit like catty almost and weird about stuff.
Because he's getting possessive of her. Yeah, he's getting possessive of her. Like somebody else wants to take my toy, so I wasn't playing with it.
Yeah.
But somebody else wants it.
Yeah.
So now I want it.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% what it is. We all know it's like if he can't have it, he doesn't want anyone else to have it, kind of thing. Yeah. Especially since it's her decision that they're not a thing anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Gosh. But like that really threw me off because I'm just like, what is his deal?
Yeah, not good. I was hoping it would be more of a sincere apology or something, and then it was like the other way where I was like, nope, didn't win. I know.
I think there was some intention to make him seem like he's showing his true feelings for her, and like
come off genuine, right?
Yeah, it didn't feel right to me either. No. I was just like, it's yeah.
And then into the other pod, then there's like the couple that's all excited and they're jumping around. And I 100% feel with Jiwon here. I am that person. I'm not super scared of heights, but in those Ferris wheels cages,
it's shaky.
People are moving around. I'm like, I can't move around. I'm like, I sit in my spot. I do not stand.
We grip that.
Like, I'm actually better in those ones where you're sitting, but the standing ones, like, I just do not like moving around.
The movement, it creeps me out too. Like,
oh, she's freaking out, right? Because that's happening.
Yeah, she's like hyperventilating, and Soul is holding her hand and like keeping her. Yeah. You know, they are like.
I just love Soul more than I love Soul. Like, Jiyeon is like sweet, I guess, but like I just more so admire like Soul's approach to like how she treats her as a friend, and then
takes care of her and like her feelings. Because I think we've all established that it's pretty strongly that Soul has romantic feelings for Jiwon, and probably has had them for a very long time. It's like hidden them, tried to be like friend. We're just friends. Yeah. For a very long time, and like we're still a little mystery about like Jiyeon is very like jealous of Soul being with anybody else but her.
I had more feelings like she thought she had feelings, and then you really realize she's on the side of that she's saying she doesn't, but then now it's like switched where you're seeing more from Soul. But interesting with Soul's reaction, so she's like holding her hands, and you can tell that Jiyeon is affected by that moment and how she's touching her, but then
she realizes like that I feel safe with this person, like I feel taken care of by this person.
But it's interesting because Soul's so in that moment of like just wanting to make her feel better. She doesn't think of it as a romantic moment, whereas Jiwon seemed to think of it as more of a romantic moment. But like it was just an interesting situation.
Yeah, it's like it's a bit of a like, to me it just feels like Jiyeon is kind of like hiding from herself.
Yeah.
Like she
doesn't want to admit it.
She doesn't want to admit her feelings. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was just an interesting. I liked how they did that whole idea of having these moments happening in the Ferris wheel. Obviously, wished it went better with Jaeon and Abby than it did, or if we got a really cute Doha scene with her in the Ferris wheel would have been nicer.
Yeah, but, exactly.
You know, it was what it was. And I think that was pretty much it for the amusement park. There wasn't something else that happened there, and then they all go back to the place and they're going to be doing the barbecue and everyone's drinking
and playing games, and we're playing those childish games where we like to
game, which I'm actually like, that was kind of fun. I never seen that
would be fun
before,
but it's like it's sort of like spin the bottle when you're in middle school, right?
You admit and like something that, you wouldn't admit out loud.
Ooh, look at them together. It's like they're college students, but it feels very innocent.
Yeah.
But there's alcohol involved, so things are going to get a little interesting.
Yes. No, and like they're all kind of like that. I enjoyed I like these scenes where they're doing the party and stuff, and so when we were talking about like the flow of the episodes and how they were going, I was kind of getting to a point before this episode, I was feeling like it was lulling again, and I'm like, oh, it seems like they do like an episode that's low-key and then something happens and then whatever. So I was like, when this happened, I was like, okay, I enjoy when they have these episodes because it feels like things are really, there's a lot going on. It seems like there's a lot going on and then a lot of retrospect. And then like
a lot of development.
Think about it all.
Yeah. And
then a lot happens. So yeah, a lot happens at this barbecue. So they're chatting, and then the whisper game, and they kind of suss out that obviously like Johak likes Nabi, which is obvious, and they're kind of like cute together, right?
And Nabi's just like, why are you saying these things? Why are you doing these things? And
and then Bitna's just being a little bit like trying to get in there and cause trouble. I'm like, why are you doing that? Like I started to question her friendship a little bit because she's almost poking too much. It's like, if you see her happy with the other guy, why are you trying to cause more issues with Jaeon? Like, let them separate.
Let them be.
Like, right?
Like she has a very exactly. It's like she's all over the map with who she thinks Nabi would be good with.
Yeah.
Because she even admitted that her.
That's the problem.
Oh God, no! Like she's even more of a mess.
Her own issues.
She's very much a mess. So she's not being super helpful in Nabi's situation either.
Yeah. So this whole time I'm just waiting, and I'm like, when's Jaeon gonna say Nabi's name for something? I know it's gonna happen. And then it was like, of course they use the poor cousin to like lure into, obviously like she wants to hear something about herself or like
exactly. And we find out that like the question that she whispered was, who do you want to kiss tonight? And Jaeon says Nabi. And so everybody's just like,
yeah.
And it just makes Nabi so uncomfortable.
I know, this is where I'm like, why do you guys
do? And Do-hyuk is just like in super protective mode. And he's just like, this is not cool. Wait, was he gone already?
I was gonna say, was he around I don't think he was around. I was just trying to think that because he has to go over the beach to prepare. They did they're gonna do fireworks and stuff. So he slips off and he'll be like, I'll be back, or I'll see you guys a little bit later, kind of thing. And I think he's not there for it because I feel like we would have saw a lot more reaction
from him. Yeah, you're right. I don't think he was there when this was going down.
And it was extra like stop, like I don't know, it just. And his cousin gets kind of hurt, like she drops her bottle
glass.
She gets cut. So then I was like, okay, this also, I was like,
it was like, okay, so this happened. It gave us a little bit of break from the tension.
So then like everybody's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the beach now or whatever. And then of course Nabi's behind, and I'm like, he's staying behind too. I just know it. I'm like, he's just gonna wait because this is
just like he's gonna come out of nowhere and he's gonna be there too. And damn straight he was, and we were right. And he's gonna start getting all like jealous. And do you like your friend? Do you think he's good?
And then she got hurt. I didn't see her get hurt. I'm like, how did you see her get hurt?
Well, because he watches her all the time. Because like a creeper.
Yeah, I was like, that's not creepy. You didn't know that. But like, he's so
I know some people are gonna like consider that romantic, that he's paying so much attention to her, but we think it's creepy.
It's just too much. I just like, boy, come, like, he's too much jealousy and too much without the extra.
Like, he doesn't want to give, like, when you have that kind of like possession, that feeling of like wanting somebody. It's like he wants her, but he doesn't want her to tie him down. Like he's always with this line drawing.
Like if he had more reason, like if he was jealous because he realized he loved her, or he couldn't stand being without her or anything like that. It would feel totally different. But besides the fact, it's just like what we talked about, he's just jealous because this other guy is around, and that she's the one that said no to him and not the other way around. That like that's why he's the way he is. It's not because of anything good behind it. So it's like that's why I'm like, no sympathy.
Exactly. It feels wrong.
Like it feels like he's trying too hard for something that's nothing really, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and then he gets to the point where, of course, he's like pretty much almost forcing himself on her on the
counter. But then she, like, of course, because she's got like some hella yearning for him still, even though she knows he's bad news and she knows he's not good for her. There's still that attraction. So the poor girl gives in a little bit.
But she does again, she like cringes, and I'm like, I don't like it when I see her cringe, and then he's still like
I know, because it's just like
loses the romantic feeling,
like, because when there's each other, we want there to be mutual consent and mutual, and so, like,
I feel like if she felt it, like, maybe it's just like a bit of a bad on the story and the way that they're choosing to act it out. Because there's been stories like this I've seen where they're like, we shouldn't be together, but we want to. And then they're kind of like all over each other. He is all over her, and then she's like, no. Like, that's what it feels like.
Her body language is very much no. Yeah. But then she accepts it afterwards. And I hate that, because that whole like archetype of how women are supposed to be like, no, I'm not a sexual being.
Yeah, it kind of feels too much in that realm for me, for it to feel natural, because I'd be more on board with it. She's like, oh hell, well, yeah, okay, I really want to look out with you too, and they like can't get enough of each other. That would feel totally different, and then I might be more on board for the couple to be a couple, and like think that even though maybe they're not great for each other, I might be rooting for it in some way. But then this type of situation makes me not root for it at all. Like, it's just,
I'm right there with you. It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But when he, like, Jan sort of like steps his foot in it, because he's like, right away, he makes it go back to sex. And he's like, well, are you sure this is all right? Because if we keep going,
I can't stop.
I'm not going to want to stop. And she's just like, yep, not going there again.
I'm kind of like actually thankful for those moments. And I'm like, okay, good that she comes to her senses. I mean, it's like, I do, again, get it, because I feel like I've been there in a sense where you're like questioning if you should do something and you give in and whatever. But again, if she was more, I don't know, maybe it's her acting and how she is naturally, that maybe like they play her off as like, I feel like they got away from that side of her a little bit in the first few episodes, but like in the very first episode, I don't know if you remember how they
you mentioned how you didn't like her reaction to his like reaching out to touch her, and how she was like cringing away. And
but she just was, they made her feel so overly innocent, and like, I don't know if you recall how they like just filmed her reactions to things and her facial expressions, that she's like seemed scared and innocent of everything, and it was kind of like it made her feel less mature than she actually is in terms of age. And it's like they almost played up that fantasy.
But why it bothers? I know why it bothers me is because it's that her body language is screaming she doesn't want to be touched, and that isn't respected. Mm-hmm. Like, he's touching her whether she wants to be touched or not.
Yeah.
And it just makes us uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And we're like, no, because like we don't want it to be like, oh, we have to pretend not to want it all the time, but then be like, oh, I guess it's all right. Like, sorry, that's kind of gone out of the scope of what's acceptable for like sexual interactions since like the 1950s. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. So I have an up and down relationship with both of them, and so I'm back on the not so on the Nabby train in terms of like how she's acting towards things, and like, because it's partly her as well, that she's like playing this, oh, I don't know, like thing, and it's like, well, you do know what he's all about, and Like,
but I think it's also saying that like she's very much doesn't want this. Like she is fighting against this so hard.
Yeah.
But I hate the fact that they make her give in.
Yeah.
Like she should be like, if she's gonna cringe away, she should cringe away, get up and walk out.
Or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, don't be like cringy and then like make out with him.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't line up properly.
No, it doesn't seem right.
Yeah, and then, so what else is happening in this episode? So then, like, I guess they all go to the thing with the fireworks and stuff afterwards, and I guess nothing really major happened there. There's, like, Bitna and the Beanie guy on the beach, and they kind of...
Well, Beanie basically broke up with her.
Yeah, it was like... Well, it wasn't, like, see, this is where I got confused, because we'll talk about this later, but it's like the whole time I didn't even know they were really dating. I thought that like at this point I still thought they were like,
well, when she confessed that she liked him, that's when they started dating, but in secret.
Yeah, but then I thought they still broke up before that because they're acting so separated from each other a lot. And
yeah, they're fighting.
I guess they're fighting, right? Like, but to me, the fighting I thought was like more of a definitive breakup, but then they aren't really. And he kind of speaks his piece, and then she.
And I think he said it very, like his character said it very well. Like neither of us are willing to compromise for the other.
Yeah, it's true.
So I don't think this is working, and it's exhausting. And like personally, I found it a little exhausting too.
Yeah. Well, you feel bad. It's like you want them to, like Bitna was like making it so hard for them to have any good moments.
Yeah, exactly. Because she was just, and I think we'll probably talk about it later. I think it's her view of what a relationship is. Mm-hmm. Is very narrow.
Yes.
So I think that didn't do her any favors. And
no. And then another couple in this episode, we had like Sol and Jiwon. So Jiwon gets really drunk.
Very drunk.
And then so Sol goes and has to take her to go to bed and whatever. And then she gets like, Jiwon's very clingy all the time. Which I wasn't super surprised in that moment.
This is a new level of cling.
Yeah.
She's drunk and she's saying, don't be with anybody. I hate it when you're with anybody else but me. Don't be with anybody else but me. Mm-hmm. And she's basically confessing that she like
to a degree, yeah.
Yeah. And so that was a bit, it left the end of episode 7 left us
not feeling great for all these
no. It was not a good thing. Yeah, I felt like because like it hurts Sol.
Yeah, well, and you could see, I was like, that actress is so good too, because I could see in like her expression and how she reacted to it, and it's like, don't stop giving me hope.
Yeah, stop giving me hope.
And I was like, oh, and like you did learn a little bit more too about, I guess, Jiwon. They were saying like she was super popular when she was younger, and they're like, oh, you were pretty, like as if she's not pretty now. But I know about how she was like the prettiest girl in school and whatever. So they've been friends for a really long time. So it's like, I guess it's sounding like that this has been happening for a long time, and it's starting to wear on Sol more and more.
It's a little bit of a codependent relationship.
Yeah,
because it's been so long, and like it makes you wonder if it's just like a bit of G1 wanting somebody to take care of her all the time the way Sol has. But it just that whole like she was drunk.
Yeah.
But you kind of knew that like maybe Sol's feelings weren't completely one-sided. So this leads us to episode 8, where episode 7 didn't leave us in like the best position for anybody. So in episode 8 feels a little heavy. First off,
yeah, well, because the guys are like kind of go head to head a little bit, right? Like,
yeah,
like, says what he thinks.
He's like, you know what? She doesn't like you, man. She doesn't want you. She wants to get away from you. And Jan's just like does his bad guy smirk and walks away.
He thinks he's too good for this whole situation.
Yeah, but this leads us to like both a very heartwarming and just like sad situation where after his thing with Jaeon and Jan does his walks away, Arduyok is gonna be like, Nabi, I'm gonna walk you home.
Yeah.
I'm gonna and it made me so sad.
Oh, really?
I know, because he's like, yeah, this is probably not good timing.
No. Right, because he's like the whole time he wants to tell it, so he wanted her to come to the beach because he wanted to tell her something. And at this point, he still hasn't really told her that he likes her, right?
Not officially, yeah. But like, boy, second lead syndrome, our man, when he makes a love confession, he does it right.
Boys. I know, he's like always so romantic in the right words. Like the last episode, I think he was saying, oh, was it the last episode he told her? Or is it this episode where he's recalling where he saw her again after they had been apart?
Yes.
This episode or last episode?
I think it's this one. I think it was probably last episode, but like it's funny because he brings up that like he was nearing the end of his military service and he went to this art gallery in the winter, and he saw somebody that he thought it was Navi, and it's like, you were there too, my friend, in one of like Nabi's bright and shining moments where her jerk of an ex-boyfriend humiliated her in public. So let's all just be there and have fate have us all.
It kind of made me think, it's like if they cross paths, would things have changed? And then so the thing that pissed me off about that was last episode, because he was telling her this romantic story and she is falling asleep. I was like, girl, why are you falling asleep on him? He's just telling you something so romantic right now, and you're sleeping.
Yeah, because like our poor second lead, because he is just so perfect in so many ways, and he does this whole where he decorates the garden path, and there's balloons and there's lights and there's so the cute camper car, and he's got like a bouquet of flowers hidden in the bushes. And he's like, this is probably not a good time because you seem really upset right now because of that dude. And she starts crying.
Not
in
a good way.
Not in a good way. Because he's like, I really like you and I want to be with you. And she's like, I am so sorry. I am not a good person to have a relationship right now. And I respect her for that so hardcore, because
to not just jump right after.
Yeah, to not just jump into it, because she knows that she cares about him, but she doesn't know if she cares about him more than as a friend.
Right. Well, it's still too early, I guess.
It's too early.
Her feeling.
She's still dealing with the mess of a feeling that Jaeon is giving her. Yeah. So she's like, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I don't want to hurt you. And I love that she's self-aware enough not to like jump in selfishly into a relationship with Dunhyuk. Yeah. And like hurt him hardcore. And like he's a very strong personality and self-assured, and he knows about his feelings, and he's respects her enough to give her that space to not insist on it.
Kind of like said it's okay, but he's not going to give up, right? Like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh, I love that.
You are such a good guy.
It's a great thing to say.
Thing to say.
I don't know. It's so bad. And I was like, hey, she's crying, but it's not bad. Like, so I had this moment of like, oh, please don't do the like bawling over dramatic Kdrama cry.
Yeah.
That we're all used to seeing.
She's got the perfect amount of sniffle, but it's not ugly crying. It's not wailing.
I was just like, please don't go there. So
she's like, I don't even know I'm crying right now.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was like, I don't know how I feel about her crying, because it was like kind of confused as to why she was feeling so. I mean, I guess she's feeling emotional, but
yeah, and later she said, I'm crying because I think I'm pathetic. Yeah, because I have this great guy standing in front of me confessing, and I still can't say yes. I still can't go for what's good for me, right? Because I'm thinking about douchebag that I stepped away. I probably shouldn't call him a douchebag. He's not complete.
He's feeling like it right now, though. Like he has to redeem himself, right? Like it's the same old things over and over again. And the part he had that little bit of development is like poof. It's like, what happened?
I know. He gets a
like,
little
stop
bit
trying, right? Like,
I
he
know.
was trying, and then all of a sudden he's not anymore.
You get this like you start building good feelings about him and his possible development as a person. Right. And then you're right, it just stops, it halts. And I'm like, I guess that's the frustrating thing about human beings. Because sometimes no matter how much you know they're capable of changing for the better, that they don't always follow through.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. It's kind of disappointing.
It is disappointing. And then like it's even more disappointing. So then they're like on the way back, and then like Bitna and Beanie officially break up. She's like, probably broke up. That's where I was like confused. I'm like, I thought they were already.
I thought they were already. It was really, feeling that way to me.
To her. But then it was like kind of, we hear more about how this was the episode where she's talking to another guy she sort of hooked up with. And like you find out more about what she thinks a relationship is, which is like not a relationship at all.
No, it's just kissing and sex with one person.
Yeah, like okay, come on, girl. I kind of want. I want better for him now too, in some ways. And I'm like,
but I think she just doesn't know any better. She doesn't know the possibility. Like, has nobody wanted to like do all the sweet and romantic things for her? Does she think that
what happened with her, right? Like,
does she either? Does she feel that she's like she doesn't want it because nobody's given it to her, and she doesn't? I don't know. Maybe she thinks she's not the type of person that receives that from people. But like, I love it how the guy she's her sort of friend. It says like, that's why he broke up with you.
Like I liked him. He was a little bit refreshing. I was like,
he's like a little splash of like reality in the face for her, and she's like, okay, that's why he broke up with me.
Makes sense. And then then we also got a moment there with Soul and G1, and like so Soul's like kind of been ignoring G1 since she got back. And like, so then G1's getting really upset about it. Because
our G1 played, I was so drunk I forgot everything last night.
Yeah.
And this really hurt our Soul. And she's just like,
G1's lying. Like,
she's lying.
The way she did not remember at
like all. the over dramatic, did I do something that I wasn't supposed to?
Oh, well, it makes me so mad. I was like, stop acting like that.
It's so obvious. And like Soul's just like, okay, if she wants to play it that way, I'll pretend to be okay and we'll just be friends. And then she realizes that I can't do this.
That's fair. I was like, I could justify the way that she was acting there, and then she kind of she keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed to the point that she's like, all right, I'll just explain. And she just straight out tells her she likes her, and that's
more than just a friend. I have feelings for you.
Yeah.
And what really surprised me was G1's reaction.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I don't know how I love you, but I don't know how I feel about you that way yet.
At first you worry she doesn't reciprocate at all, right? Like she.
Yeah, I was actually very surprised. I thought that she would be, because she's been all her life, she's been like dating guys and stuff like that. And even if she's realized like what she feels for Soul is more than just friendship, she's been very much like denying that to herself and being like, nope, I'm straight. I don't feel that way for women. I'm going to date all these guys and I'm going to have this typical get married, have babies life.
Yeah.
And I thought that's what she was going to go with. I thought she was really going to break Soul's heart. And and who knows, maybe later on she will.
Yeah.
And she'll like
she hasn't in the closet yet, right?
Yeah, but it really surprised me that she basically said,
I don't know yet. Yeah.
Let me figure it out.
Which I was like, good. That was like a good moment. I was like, that's how it should be handled. Because you can't expect her to wake up and realize overnight that this is it, because that's a huge thing to question about yourself, and
it is a big thing.
So I was like, that was a good way that they approached this relationship between the two of them. And I was like, how refreshing is it that we have a two girls having a relationship in a Kdrama? I was like, this is
I watched, why isn't it's becoming, I know, it should be more common. And actually, it's funny. I've been seeing smatterings of this in a lot of different dramas I've watched in the last couple of years. And like, because homosexuality is still it's like Korea is a very conservative society. And like homosexual couples still have like no protections. Like if your company finds out you are gay, they are more than welcome to fire you for no other reason but that.
Yeah.
So it's still a very scary thing to be a gay or lesbian or a transgendered person. And they're sort of like in the beginnings of fighting for acceptance and fighting for equal rights out there. Because I follow several gay couple YouTubers out of Korea, and you see a little bit of that reality for them. And the fact that like in such a conservative society that they're placing those stories, they're within like standard dramas that are on network television.
Yeah.
It's really refreshing to see. Yeah, because it's just like it's small doses, but it gives a perspective that this isn't wrong.
No,
this is just another form of love.
Yeah, and I don't know, I like the way they're approaching it. I actually am enjoying it more than I've seen in American or British television or anything like that when they've had same-sex women couples. Like I feel like this one just feels raw and genuine and coming from like, I don't know, it just feels different, and it feels like it's not over sexualized, which I feel like a lot of times it ends up being that.
Exactly, because love is like a relationship isn't just intercourse and sex.
No.
It's about building that relationship, like emotional relationship too, right?
Which is interesting because then that's like shows giving us kind of a little bit of everything, right? Like we are having the one that's like that, and then one that's like sort of in between, and this one that's a lot softer, and then you have the other one that's kind of innocent too. So it's like you're kind of getting all kind of stages of different types.
We got like the spectrum, right?
Yeah, it is neat that way. And
I'm right with you. I appreciate that it's given us a little bit of everything.
And then, like, I guess also in this episode, we finally get to learn a little bit more about Jiyeon, or I guess Nabi learns a little bit more about Jiyeon. Yeah. So he starts to talk to her a little bit more because they go to some sort of exhibition. Like he's still helping her out with her project, and whatever. And and so they spend time together, and then he starts talking about how he fell in love at first sight, which I'm like, also. He claims to not love anybody, so what is this falling in love at first sight situation?
I'm sorry, friend, do you even know the meaning of that word yet?
Yeah, but you're not in love. Like, I don't know, so that threw me off. And then of course it's like we all know he's probably talking about Nabi at the same place
gallery
that Dohak was talking about it, and I'm like,
it's like it's so Kdrama. It is so Kdrama that they have like they all were in the same place, like coincidentally 6 months before the main story starts. They all had that. They both, all three of them were in the same place, right? She didn't see them, but they saw her.
Yeah, and so you think it's like this big moment where he's telling her stuff, and then he's like, but I don't believe in fate anyway. Like, we just throw dirt on it. Like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take something that could have been like really superior, like saying, and you just like all over it.
Totally. I was just like, okay, so nothing about this is genuine, nor did she seem to pick up on the fact it was her at all. I guess that was just
I think she realized, like, I think she realized when it was like, he did admit that it was like, he said straight out that it was her at the gallery before.
Okay, but I guess she didn't, I don't know.
Yeah, she didn't, she was just sort of like, she was very skeptical and like, why the fuck are you telling me this?
Yeah, like, it's like, just because he says he doesn't believe in the fate thing just tarnishes the whole thing, and agreed, it makes it completely sus. It just like, stop.
Not win it like this. I'm sorry, Jaehyun cannot win any points with us.
No, and like, I thought he was going to, and I thought they were gonna have this redeeming part, and now like there's 2 episodes left. What else can they do here with him that's going to change drastically? Or are we going to be turned upside down and then she just runs off with Dohak? That would be so crazy. Right?
Oh, God,
it's what happens.
Like we mentioned this in our previous episode when we were going through the first 4 episodes of Nevertheless, where we were just like, we don't know if we even want these two to be together.
Right.
And it's gonna be like, we're kind of hoping it's gonna be one of those unhappy ending stories where she does not stay with him and they split. Maybe they become better people later on in life.
No,
but
what can happen in 2 episodes? That's where I'm like racking. He's been this bad this whole time.
I know.
Progressively getting worse, it seems like.
I know. It's just like,
where's the redeeming?
Where are you, man? Give us something.
Yeah, and then so of course they had to throw in the token, like that he comes in, has to do the modeling.
Oh yeah, give them more interactions where they can like spend like a good 5 minutes of the episode staring at each other.
Okay, so they did this in the G-rated way because like when I was in art school, we had models, they were nude, 100% nude. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I guess they didn't do that to it.
No, he was still wearing pants, but he took off his t-shirt.
Yeah.
They got a little ab.
The token gotta bring up the ratings a little bit potentially. That's usually what happens.
Just enough to bring up ratings, but not enough to get them censored.
Exactly. So I don't know. I just thought that whole scene was like kind of like, was it necessary? Again, too, it's like just the staring and the longing and the.
Yeah, exactly. It's just we know that there's this like love-hate thing going on. Like she wants him, but she doesn't want him. Yeah, we've established that. But thank you for the eye candy.
Yeah, and so it's like I kind of was feeling like after this episode, it was like feeling like it was going back to where it was before.
Yeah, I think we're reverting. We're reverting.
Yeah, and like I liked like that Dohuk showed up at the university and he like is being cute and bringing her stuff.
Bring her picnic.
I know. I was like, Jesus.
So we are such romantic saps that this is what like we love this.
And we forgot to talk about him sending her off on the bus.
I know. How did we forget that? Oh my God, people, this is like such a great moment.
It was so good. So she's like leaving and he chases her down on the bus.
And he comes out, I'm going to bring you brownies and I'm going to tell you, you may not be ready yet, but until you tell me that you can't love me, period, I am going to keep trying. And I'm just like, yes.
But then not even only that, he's like on the bus with her and it's going to start and take off. So then he gets off and then he calls her and he's looking at her through the window. I love that scene. I was like, why would they do it like that? But I just loved it. He called her and like said to her on the phone and it like almost makes her feel, it shows too that he gives her a space to breathe and be like, be separated from it a little bit as he's saying something that could potentially overwhelm her.
No, he's just like, ideal, like the way he interacts and the way he understands her. Yeah, it's like, where is he in Canada? Can I find my version?
I know. Anyone like this man needs to find Lisa. This way, sorry.
Single over here, right here.
You totally need one like him, I swear. Like he's definitely the whole package and she is crazy to not, I don't know.
So yeah, so we are feeling great about Do-hyuk.
Yeah.
And still not feeling so hot about Jaehyun in that situation.
Feeling great, but worried that he's not gonna get the girl in the end.
Oh, just this is why we have to watch the end of the series.
Because we need to like know what happens about that.
Yeah. Are we gonna be severely disappointed? Or are we gonna be like, yeah, it's a sad ending, but it's like what needs to happen? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and so I will be honest in saying, okay, I want to see, I need to see, we stuck out this far, so I need to see the end.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm living more for the other characters now than I am for the main characters, I will say. Yeah. And I don't know. I think they're losing me a little bit, this drama, just in the place it's at now. When I saw the previews for the next episode, I wasn't like, yeah, like I need to see it as much.
Yeah, it's like
it's lose me
because this particular episode sort of left me a little down. Like the last two, 7 and 8, both left me a little bit feeling a little down.
After the party and the barbecue stuff, there was not enough going on. Like I don't know. It's like they're running out of different things. Like that's where it needed to be before, when he was her assistant and he was getting better. If he continually was like getting better at this point, and this is where you were seeing him,
he was having, if he could show some development of emotion and as a human being, and like have some like self-realization, that would be amazing. But who knows? Maybe he'll be one of those characters that like he is human and difficult to change, and he's just going to disappoint us to the end.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, so that, folks, this is where we are right now. We're just like, man, are you going to step up, or are we going to like just like completely write yourself off?
Yeah.
I want to know. I need to know.
Here. It's tricky. The other thing I wanted to talk about, which I thought was kind of funny off of the topic of like the main storyline, is this like product placement of the pizza place, the pizza Polo. I don't even know how you say it. Okay, it's been in so many dramas. I'm like, what? I know. I had to look it up. I'm like, what is this pizza place?
And when I saw the pizza came out, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, what is on it? It looked like potato skins or something. Right?
It looked like
full on different,
full on like potato halves, like stuff.
Okay, it must have been. I thought it was, and like I think there was another drama I saw it in where it's like, it seems like they specialize in, you get a pizza and every pizza slice is different or something, like different topping. I don't know. I was like, this is cool. Interesting.
That is cool and like so complicated.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It's like, so it's like over the top a little bit. So but I did look it up. It is a chain in Korea of restaurants, and they specialize in, I guess, they do like gourmet style, I guess, toppings, like different things. So
so those are those look like some pretty interesting topping choices.
Like, they must be popular. They've been repeating it. I think this is the third or fourth drama I've seen them have this restaurant, other than Subway. Subway is also a beloved K-drama restaurant. God. Always
like hello drama sponsor.
Always makes you laugh when they hang out at the Subway.
I know, exactly. And it's like the product, I like, there are some dramas, like, I don't know if you saw King or the King Eternal or something like that. With
I have to go back. I did watch the first episode. I've heard mixed things about it.
So like it was like to the extreme of product placement.
Okay, yes, I thought I heard that. It was probably you who told me this.
I probably told you this because like it was just like too much.
Okay.
And at least I have to say something, like the product placement in this one so far has been subtle and non-distracting. You're perfectly aware that it's product placement, but it's not annoying.
The hair dryer we were talking about, that scene was pretty funny. That was Dyson. Earlier on. She had the Dyson that was ring dryer or whatever. I was like, what is this whole scene?
I know, it's like so unbelievable because she's only like she uses like 2 separate attachments and only one piece of hair. And she's desperate to fix that one piece of hair. It's driving her nuts.
And she just has to keep her hair up anyway. It doesn't matter.
I know.
Oh goodness. So I love these parts about K-dramas though. Those are like the little things that make me laugh. Soundtrack's still good. If I'm right, does it seem like the soundtrack's changing a little bit now too? It's like picking up a little bit. Like
I think we've got the songs that really stick out for me are songs that are like common through the drama, I think. But yeah, we've been getting a little more, like a few extra. But I love the music about this is because like the music isn't jarring. It doesn't like fits with the scenes that they're using it in.
Yeah.
And
it makes it feel soft and like, I guess that's where it feels a little less menacing and innocent, is the music. It like kind of soothes it all over a little bit.
Yeah, it creates a better mood, I think, without like, and it suits it. Like I think we mentioned it before that we're
sounding too.
Yes. Well, a little bit of Sam Kim would do that for anybody.
I know, no wonder we love it so much. Like we love him, so I'm not surprised. I'm super. Usually, I can get kind of annoyed. Like it's the point where you hear the K-drama songs so many times that they're stuck in your head and it's a little bit annoying. stuck in your head, but no, this is different though. Like I'm like, I'm okay.
Because like it's been a number of years since I've seen My Love from Another Star, but You Are My Destiny. It's still very clear in my brain.
Yeah, that one is pretty. Oh man, The Days. That is still one of my favorite dramas, though. I can't knock that one. That one.
It's classic. It's a classic.
Yeah, but yeah, it does definitely have like that cheesy music factor to it. Yeah. But yeah, this one for sure is like one of the ones I'm like, I could listen to all these songs on their own and like just have it live in my library and it not feel like it's a drama OST immediately.
Yeah, it's got an excellent vibe and it brings an extra like a really great atmosphere to the show itself, I think. I agree.
So like we said, 2 episodes left to go, so we'll be back to talk about those and kind of give our thoughts on the finale. I'm kind of excited. I'm glad this is not a 16 episode show. I feel like if it went that long, it would probably be too long, hey?
Yeah, I think because this is a lot more heavier content than your typical drama. So it's I think 10 would be a good length for sure.
Part of me is like kind of like, oh, what's gonna happen, because there's only 2 episodes left. And like he hasn't had a redeeming, like, still part of me is like, I know we're saying we don't want them to end up together, but still part of me is like, is it gonna be Kdrama land and they are gonna end up together? And so I want him to be a better person in time for that.
I know. Please be a better person.
Yeah, or something. I don't know. I just really hope we don't end up being disappointed. I mean, even if we were, the journey has been okay. Like I've enjoyed, like I would say there's dramas I have stopped watching because of a lot, like of a different, like there's things that make me feel uncomfortable about this drama, but it's enough that there's been things to keep me in it. And it's like, it's one of those things where I like it because I dislike it to a point. Like it's
kind of nice. It's kind of nice to be challenged by your entertainment sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the ones that make me go, oh, I want to talk about it. Then I feel like the people that wrote it and are directing it and the actors are doing a good job, because it's like, I'm not talking about it because they're so bad, but it's like talking about it's really hitting certain feelings you get in certain
it provokes emotion. So like I have to say, like we're 8 episodes in and this is probably going to be one of the more memorable dramas that I've watched. So like points for this, like it's pretty highly rated for me, just because like you said before, it provokes, it gets you thinking, and like it like makes you feel things.
Yeah, and I would give it extra points too, in the sense of it feels different and offbeat from the typical K-drama. There's like, we haven't had a lot of cliche moments happen in there. Like I joked about the wrist grab here, but there's officially one back hug that just happened. But not the typical back hug, and it's 2 girls, so it's different. There hasn't been any wrist grabbing or like the usual
pulling around to spin into a hug.
Yeah, no one's like, well, did they have a moment where she slipped? Maybe it's not as obvious, but there's like less of that.
No, our typical moments came from our 2 senior student teachers.
Oh yes, that's right. They fill in the little K-drama pockets along the way. But
they give us a little bit of familiar. Oh, you know what I mean. I can't say the word right now. They bring us the familiar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got you. But yeah, so I like the fact that it's refreshing and it feels different, especially if you're a person that likes to watch a lot of K-dramas and you're looking for something new and different. It's a different story, different feeling between the characters. And yeah, like it's, how often do you not root for the leads to like end up together?
Yeah, it's like it's very rare for me to have second lead syndrome.
Oh really?
It's very rare. I'm usually like, okay, yeah, so
you're committed type. I am like real lead all the
like
time.
Lead couple all the way. So like for me to have second lead syndrome,
it's gonna be a good one. Well,
yeah,
this one is
this is not your typical drama.
No, I don't know. Maybe I gotta get you to watch some of the ones that there's good, because there's definitely times I do end up wavering, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of times the second male lead, you're like, yeah, they're good, but then you can get why they're with the main at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely been some where I was like, feel robbed because I'm like, it should. There's a couple. There's even like one I was watching recently that I'm like, I don't know if I said to my husband, I'm like, I don't know if I can continue this if the second male lead's gonna get ditched out, because I just feel like this is not fair, and I'm like, just very.
This is so unjust.
Yeah, like I borderline am feeling that on this one too, but
yeah,
there's more going on in this one that makes me want to watch it. Other than that, so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So good points. We like recommend this to anybody out there who's looking for a good drama.
Something
so
a little different.
Something a little different. So we're hopefully that you'll join us for our finale and see together how things turn out. Because we'd love to hear your thoughts. Give us some feedback on what you think of the episodes and what are the things that like really great at you or really stood out to you. We'd love to hear those too. And yeah, so we'd love to please like, comment, share, and get the conversation going and more attention on this drama, because it's a pretty awesome one. So
yeah, and I want to hear your predictions actually. I want to hear, what do you think will happen with them? Because I'm very curious, because since we're debating that too. So I think, yeah, I'd be very excited to see if we had a couple of different opinions in there, and then we could all see together what happens when the finale comes. So
yeah, definitely.
All right. So I guess we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks, and we will be chatting about the finale.
Yeah, exactly. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.